Hello and welcome. My name is Brenda Alacy. I'm the Vice President of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion for the Buffalo-Niagara Association of Realtors. I'm here with Tamika Collins-Murphy, who is a 10-year veteran of the real estate industry. We recently produced a video about racism in the real estate industry, and we'd like you to take a look at this very brief video.
Hi, Tamika.
Hi, Brenda. It's Tamika, the agent. So I just wanted to let you know I'm pulling up to 123 Main Street. I'll be there in a few seconds.
Sounds great. Thanks so much. I'm right behind you. I should be there in about 2 minutes.
Okay, see you then. Hi, Brenda. I'm here. I just pulled up into the driveway, so you should be able to see me when you arrive. Oh, wait. The police are here.
What are you doing here?
Officer, I'm waiting to show my client a home.
Can I see some ID?
Officer, my name is Tamika. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm waiting to show my client a home. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, Tamika.
Are you okay?
Yes, of course I'm okay. Why would you ask?
We've had some suspicious characters in the neighborhood.
This is Tamika. She's my real estate agent. She's here to show me this home.
It may be 2022, but there is still blatant and inexcusable racism happening in our community. The difference between what happens to white agents versus agents of color on a routine basis, even now, is not acceptable. Racism rears its ugly head between realtors, too. If you have been a victim of this type of overt discrimination, please contact the association office.
Tamika, what we just watched was pretty jarring. Is that an accurate reenactment of what happens to you on a regular basis?
Well, that's a soft reenactment, Brenda. So, but it's pretty close to what happens to myself and so many other agents of color and ethnic backgrounds.
This is not just an isolated incident, though, is it?
No, this happens very often. I like you mentioned, I've been in the business a little over 10 years, and multiple times a year, something like this happens to myself or an agent that I may know in the business.
So we saw the police officer come up to you rather aggressively in this video, and once you explained who you were, everybody sort of calmed down a little bit. But what kind of reaction do you get from law enforcement officers when they confront you like that?
Well, a lot of times, Brenda, and if we're going to have an open dialogue about this, a lot of times 85% of my business is African American. In this video, you were my client at this point. So that video was a little softer than what's normally dealt with. If I'm showing an African American client, a police officer isn't as nice to either myself or the client at that point in the video.
So it makes a difference if your client is white or a person of color?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
What does the police officer generally say once you explain what you're doing?
Well, the first question is, we got a call from either a neighbor or someone that lives in the house. And the second question is always, what are you doing in this area?
You know, it's interesting you say that, Tamika, because it's not just police officers who come up to you in these settings. It's often people who live in that neighborhood, right?
Oh, yeah. The neighbors are the toughest ones that, we would have to deal with. And so often when neighbors express how they feel, it's the truth. It's the honest truth. And, a lot of times when police officers are called, we as agents or my clients would think that the officers are, coming to deflect what's going on. But so often it's the opposite, and we find that police officers are often on the neighbors or the homeowner side, and they want to know the same questions.
Do you ever have officers of color in this situation?
Depending on where we're showing a home. So we currently live in Western New York. So, if we're in Amherst, 9 times out of 10, there's no officers of color, or, if we're in a suburban area, no officers of color, no.
You've been in this business for a decade now, Tamika. Does it make you discouraged when it comes to showing properties in traditional white neighborhoods?
Oftentimes it does. it's a situation where you can never be prepared. And as a black agent, we're never prepared as to what may happen given current events that happens in America. Often, we're pulled over for being black. We're oftentimes murdered for being black, or going to the store, or drugging, or just sleeping in our homes, and it never prepares us for what's going to happen. So a lot of times we're on pins and needles, and the conversations are different when we're going into suburban areas.
When you're out and about doing your job as a realtor, do you feel like you always have to have an identification badge on?
Absolutely. So identification badge, the cards, the real estate cards, you always want to show something showing, even business cards, showing that and identifying yourself as a real estate agent.
And you often sometimes even have a vehicle with the placard of your company on there, right?
Yes.
And even so, all of that, you're standing in front of a property with an open house or a for sale sign, it still happens.
It still happens.
Last question for you.
Okay.
How can things change? What do you think needs to happen to make things change?
Well, I always tell, and I tell my agents, and I even tell my kids, racism is taught. And I just feel that the more we speak out about it, and the more we make an issue of the issues that we deal with, more real estate agents, more brokerages would see what's happening, and hopefully a change is made just by putting the situations in front and making everyone feel uncomfortable.
Actually, this is my last question, Tamika. You put yourself out here and you're talking with us, you agree to be in the video. It can't be easy. What motivated you to do this?
It's not easy, Brenda, but what motivates me is the change that I hope to see at some point, not only in the real estate industry, but in America. Just putting my personal situations out there. And I'm quite sure if you ask any other agent of color, or brown and black agent, or any agent of a different background than me that has experienced racism, they'll tell you the same thing. It's not easy, but if we want to see change happen, then we need to speak about it, and we need to speak up, and we need to, we need to let everyone feel uncomfortable, so that if it does happen, and if it's happening from someone that has seen a video, they'll think twice about what they say and how they say it. And I'm hoping, police officers at some point will go through some type of trainings on how to deal with different people and different cultures.
Thank you so much for being here, Tamika.
Thank you, Brenda.